In this module, you'll learn how to enable real-time protection for Microsoft Copilot Studio agents. We'll explore how Microsoft Defender helps detect and block suspicious prompts, risky tool actions, jailbreak attempts, and sensitive data exposure while generating security alerts that help teams monitor, investigate, and respond to threats quickly and effectively. Hi, I am Cio Rodriguez. At the end of this module, you should be able to 1. Describe AI agent protection capabilities in Microsoft Defender for cloud apps. 2. Enable real-time protection for Copilot Studio agents in the Microsoft Defender portal. And 3. Verify protection outputs in Defender XDR inventory, alerts, and advanced hunting. In this first objectives, explore Copilot Studio AI agents protection. Copilot Studio agents can connect to business data, call tools, and perform actions for users, which also makes them an attractive target for attackers. Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps helps reduce this risk through uh, three main capability: discovery and hunting, audit and alerts, and real-time runtime protection. Security teams can automatically discover Copilot Studio agents, review the connectors and data sources that they use, and investigate suspicious behavior with advanced hunting KQL. Defender also monitors agent activity for threats such as prompt injection, data exfiltration, policy violations, and unusual tool usage. When suspicious behavior is detected, alerts are correlated into Microsoft Defender XDR incidents so analysts can investigate the agent together with related identity, endpoint, and cloud signals. The strongest protection comes from real-time runtime inspection. Defender examines tool invocations before they execute and can block high confidence threats such as attempts to expose sensitive data, leak credentials, misuse internal tools, and send information to malicious destinations. For the SC-500 certification exam, remember the flow: discover the agent, monitor its behavior, block dangerous activity, and investigate the resulting alerts. Also, distinguish Copilot Studio protection in Defender for Cloud Apps from Defender for AI Services, which protects Azure AI workloads. Let's now get into the demo and take a look how all of these things work. Here we are at the Microsoft Defender portal. You can get here by going to security.microsoft.com, or from the admin center, just go into Microsoft Defender, the security portal. And most of the stuff that we're going to discuss before these things work, it has to be configured properly. So what we're going to do at the bottom of the end here of this menu, you're going to click on settings, and under so you're going to click on settings, and then on the settings menu we are going to click on security for AI, and what you want to confirm over here is, first of all, that the Copilot Studio connector is configured. So this will monitor Copilot Studio agents action request during runtime to detect and block security risks such as suspicious behavior or cross-prompt injection attack. So this is one of the first thing. And within this connector, we can also enable what is called Copilot Studio real-time protection, which is one of our objectives. Now, this integration allows Defender to scan agent tool invocations calls in real time, detect security risk, that means suspicious behavior or cross-prompt injection attacks, and block malicious actions. So Defender would do that automatically once you enable this. If suspicious behavior is detected, the response will be blocked and will trigger an alert that will be reflected in the Defender XDR alerts and incidents, queues, and experiments. Now, in this tenant, it's not enabled. This is a fictitious company testing tenant, and that's why we don't have that there. But actually, and so here also, this needs to be enabled or connected to Power Platform. So what that means is that to configure this, you need an admin on the Power Platform side who would configure the this URL and also the app ID that needs to be created, because this is a connector. So keep in mind that there are many types and flavors of agents, and Copilot is a SaaS agent. We're talking about something that the SaaS. We're not talking about a local agent on a computer. That's a different kind of agent, and we'll talk about that at some other point. But um, this is the first step when we're looking at the Copilot Studio agents. Okay, we also need so for some of the stuff that we're going to do here, we also need to confirm that the Microsoft 365 connector it's enabled, and some of uh, the features that this when you connect as Microsoft administrator, you gain visibility and control. And basically, we're talking about the Microsoft Entra ID management events. This enables Defender for cloud apps to audit all admin activities performed in Microsoft Entra ID. So all those things will be in Defender. If you do the Microsoft Entra ID sign-in events, then this enable for cloud apps to audit all sign-in and sign-out activity performed by users through Microsoft Entra ID. And again, so you have also the Microsoft Entra ID apps, the Microsoft 365 activities, and Microsoft 365 files. So it's important that all of this is in place before this things works. And so we have Agent 365, which we have talked about Agent 365 from the perspective of a SOC analyst. We saw that one of the modules. We also saw Agent 365 from the perspective of an intra admin and Copilot, but we have not yet gotten into Agent 365 as the control plane. That's going to be a complete module that it's coming in. It's one of the modules in this learning path that we are covering. So that's coming. Just stay tuned. But so these things are paramount in order for all these things to work. When we look into the real-time protection, you can also create rules. You can create rules that so that you are alerted. For example, when a one of those things happen, and there is a protection rule. And basically, what this does is so this default rules apply to the entire tenant, and it stays in audit mode and can't be audited, enabled, disabled, deleted, blah, blah, blah. But you can create your own rules. We're not going to get into this now. I cannot do it in this module, but we'll take a look at that in a later video. And and then when it comes to prompt evidence collection, what this does is that it exposes from snippets exchanged between the user and the agent to support deeper analysis of agent-related alerts. These snippets include only the portions of user prompts or agent responses identified as suspicious and relevant to security classification. So now you cannot see the whole response, the prompt and response within Defender. If configured properly, you can see just that portion that is relevant for when you are investigating. Um, for example, sensitive data and secrets are redacted. However, customers' conversations may still be sensitive in nature, right? When prompt evidence collection is enabled, prompt evidence is included in security alerts in the Defender XDR portal and retained according to the Microsoft Defender XDR data retention policy. When disabled, prompt evidence is not stored as part of the security alert. Now, we can see more of the prompt and response in the data security aspect of prompt, which is in Microsoft Purview. And again, that's another complete demo that we're going to take a look at. So once we have configured this, we can go back into assets and then all agents, and we'll see the things start flowing. That's why we see this here. Now, there was a module already covered and created video that we went through about agents in Defender XDR. So if this is the first module that you're watching, and you are planning to take this certification, you have a lot of work to get done. There's a lot of modules that we have completed. This is module 27 already. So the previous module was all about Defender XDR. I would highly recommend that you watch that. But anyway, so if we want to look at one of these, I'm not going to go into too much details because we have already covered this, but here you see a lot of details about this agent and what's going on so that you, a SOC analyst, can investigate. We also cover the incidents and alerts. So incidents are a collections of alerts. They're grouped together into an incident, and then you can investigate it over here. Again, anything related to agents will now be covered um, we because we added those components over there, and you can kind of filter over here. There's a number of things that you can filter whenever you're looking for these incidents. And then if you just want to look at the individual alerts, this is where they would come into place over here. Okay, so again, we have looked into this before, but this is one way. And we also cover a little bit about advanced hunting. There may be more advanced hunting queries that you may have to do. And again, you can do this against agents and agent activities and that kind of stuff. Okay, but that's basically the first step is to configure the Microsoft Defender, establish those connections, and then now everything start to flow here in the Microsoft Defender portal. The following demo, it's about enabling protection in Microsoft Defender. Now, rather than talking about this, let me show you how that looks like in the Microsoft Azure portal. Here we are in the Microsoft Azure portal at portal.azure.com. From here, we're going to go to, you could search for Microsoft Defender for Cloud. In my case, I've already looked for it. So we're going to go to Defender for Cloud. And those of you who have been following me in this course, we've been here before. If this is your first time, then and you want to learn about this stuff and get the certification, you have a lot of work to do. There's many videos where we have talked about this. But anyway, so we're going to go to management and then click on environment settings. And then from here, we are going, depending on the environments that you have, we only have Azure in this tenant, but you may have GCP, AWS, whatever connected to this. We're going to click on this, and if you have multiple subscription, you could do this at the tenant root level, but we're just going to click on this subscription, and from here we are going to look at, so as always, we have talked about this. You need to have the Defender CSPM plan, and if you look at the Cloud Workload Protection, or CWPP, the one that we are looking for is the AI services. If you click on the details, it tells us that, again, this is in terms of the pricing, it, you see some of the prices over there, but what does that actually mean, right? But anyway, so this is a simple one-click setup. There's no need to enable logs or rewriting runtime threat protection to your Azure AI services. This will detect sensitive data and credential leakage events. It will continuously analyze data plane and control plane logs on Azure AI services, and it will generate context-based security alerts easily integrated with any SIEM, whether it is Splunk or Microsoft Sentinel or whatever the case may be. I just was going to mention another one, but Curator. Yes, Curator. That's what I wanted to say. All right. So let me close that. And if we click on the settings here, notice how this is on. So this would have to be on. If we click on settings, there are three other things that you could turn on and off individually. The first one is three components here: the enable suspicious prompt evidence. And what this does is that it exposes the prompts passed between the user and the model for deeper analysis of AI-related alerts. The prompt snippets will include only segments of the user prompt or model response that were deemed suspicious and relevant for security classification, which is basically the same thing that this is the same thing that we read in the Microsoft Defender portal. While sensitive data or secrets are redacted, customer conversations may be deemed sensitive in nature. The evidence will be available through Defender portal as part of each alert. So you can basically look at these alerts in the Defender portal. That's what that's saying. The second component is the enable data security for AI interactions. And this basically will allow Microsoft Purview to access, process, and store prompts and responses, including metadata for data security and compliance outcomes, such as sensitive info types or SIT classification, reporting in Microsoft Purview, data security posture management for AI, audit, insider risk management, communication compliance, and e-discovery. Now, keep in mind that this is a Microsoft Purview paid capability and it's not included in the Defender for AI Services plan. But so this is all about data security, and we haven't been there yet in this learning series. So, but there's going to be a whole module about how to protect the data itself using Microsoft Purview. So we'll get there. If you follow along, if you continue this journey to certification, we will get there. And another feature which is in preview still, it's AI model security. And one important things to notice over here is that all of this is new. It's new for everybody, not just for Microsoft. It's a new thing in the world of cybersecurity. So things are changing so rapidly. There's so many things, this whole AI and agents, it's a complete monster when it comes to cybersecurity, and things are changing rapidly. So, and yes, so at Microsoft, we are evolving as well with all these changes. There's always something new that comes up. And as a matter of fact, I want to mention that although I am a Microsoft employee, this video series do not represent the uh, everything that I'm saying here. It's my own opinion. This is not the official mic. I do not represent officially Microsoft and this kind of thing. So just wanted to lay that out over there. Um, so here we have, again, AI model scanning gives you a clear, unified view of all your models registered in Azure Machine Learning registries, and it helps teams stay ahead of security risks by automatically checking for issues like serialization vulnerabilities, malware, and missing scans. So by surfacing misconfigurations and integrating seamlessly with Defender for Cloud and developer workflows, it ensures that your AI models are continuously protected and ready for production. So we're not only protecting the environment, the data, we're also protecting against the model themselves. So, and that's really, really important. All right, so those are the three pieces that I wanted to show because, again, for these things to work, then these things need to be in place. And as always, you could look at the security policies over here. We talked about this, standards and recommendations. So when you enable that, any recommendation, anything related to AI will surface over here. Let me see if there's any AI related stuff. Well, actually, uh, maybe Azure AI. Anyway, so yeah, so Azure AI search services could have local authentication method disabled. So again, there's a lot of stuff that you may want to use with a policy. So we have talked about Azure policies many times. And so if you want to configure at a scale and you want to make sure that configurations do not drift, then Azure policy is the way to go. And we have talked about Azure policy in many places. Anyway, so email notifications you can configure here. We talked about the standards. So these recommendations are based on the standards. So the more standards that you have, the more standards that you will base. So if you enable any of the NIST standards, then they're off in my tenant. The only thing that I have enabled right now is the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, or MCSB. So this recommendation are based on the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark. So if I enable any of this, then I will get more recommendations there. All right. And since we talked about Azure policy, I don't want to conclude this part of the presentation without so talking about, if we go to policy here and we go to Azure policy, if we want to configure AI stuff, then we can do this with a policy definition. Just to look at, what's available for Azure AI, right? We see that there's tons of stuff over there that we can configure for Azure AI stuff. And maybe let me see if there's anything for Copilot. There's nothing for Copilot. Foundry is also based on, um, yeah, there's a lot of stuff for Foundry models, because this is about models, so Copilot won't be here. But anyway, so this is a way of implementing controls at a scale, and to make sure that they are always present, that they don't drift from the configuration. So, but those are the things that specifically the configuring the Microsoft Defender for Cloud when it comes to AI services. For the last objective on this module, so keep in mind that after enabling real-time protection for Copilot, Studio agents, the next step is to verify that the protection is working end to end in the Microsoft Defender portal. We already saw that at the beginning of this video. Got to check that there are three primary places to check. We already saw how to look at AI, assets, the agents themselves. We looked into incidents and alerts, and we also looked into advanced hunting. So together, uh, this confirm that agents are being discovered, that threats are generating alerts, and that runtime activity is available for investigations. In assets and AI agents, as we saw there, verified that the Copilot Studio agent appears and shows a connected status. We already saw that. The inventory also displays associated connectors, data sources, and risk signals. Agent makers can additionally see protection health directly in Copilot Studio. So we haven't been in Copilot Studio yet, but we'll go there. And we also saw how to review the incidents and alerts in the Microsoft Defender portal. And we also look into how to use the advanced hunting for deeper investigation. Now, we're not going to go deep into any of these things because that's not the purpose. It's just basically putting all these things together to basically make sure that real-time protection for Copilot Studio agents is active across inventory, alerts, and interaction data. There are many more modules related to AI and data security in this learning path, and we're going to cover those other things uh, uh, in this, coming videos that will show up in future lessons. To conclude this module, let's go back to the study guide, the whole learning path, if you want to call it. So we've covered all that. We are here. So remember that there are 12 of this learning paths. We are in the implement security for AI. And then this learning path has several modules. We already covered the secure access for Microsoft Intra Agent Identity. So if you haven't watched that, you should do that if you want to learn about that. We covered the analyze AI identity risk using Microsoft Defender XDR. And we are here, the enable real-time protection for Copilot Studio agents. That's what we just finished. Next, we are going to cover configure AI gateway security in Microsoft Foundry. And basically, we use AI gateway in Microsoft Foundry to secure and govern AI model traffic. The ones that are Foundry is the platform in Microsoft, the advanced platform Microsoft that is used by developers. This is not like you can create low code, no code with Copilot Studio, but Foundry, it's more powerful custom agents that you can create in the Microsoft ecosystem. We're going to examine the gateway architecture, create and configure a gateway instance with security controls, and apply access restrictions and monitor to enforce policies and detect missions. So that's coming next. And again, there are many more modules in this learning path, many more. So this is a long certification, a very difficult certification. And again, if you want to get everything that you need to pass this certification, you are in the right place. So thanks for watching. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, share, and like the channel if you find this useful. Thank you.